Trump and his health updates are shocking the world. CNN and doctors just revealed the truth, and everyone is panicking because somebody who is a medical doctor just issued a grave warning on Trump, and he is in a health crisis, and doctors are exposing all of this. So if you think the current right-wing news cycle is just the usual MAGA meltdown, you're missing a massive ticking structural crisis sitting right in the Oval Office. Yep, his fat ass is sitting right there in that Oval Office. So what you've been told about the sudden, bizarre press releases dropping this week is a smokescreen. It is a very specific, heavily applied concealer type of smokescreen. Look, I get it. We're all deeply fatigued and deeply overstimulated by all of the chaos that Trump instills upon us every single day. It is exhausting. There's a 24/7 barrage of absolute chaos happening at all times. So it's incredibly easy to get beat down. But because of that noise, everyone is completely overlooking this catastrophic reality that Donald Trump and his inner circle forgot to scrub from the official record. I am talking about an active physical breakdown that alters who is going to be running the executive branch. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you the exact medical evidence that they are desperately trying to hide from you, because once you see the unedited footage, you cannot unsee it. And, you know, it's a great day when we can feel like we're getting a little closer to Trump going the way of the dinosaurs. And real quick, I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra is snoozing behind me, and we're going to ask you to take a moment to subscribe. Subscribe now, or you could potentially risk 10 years of Stephen Miller nesting in your crawl space, or becoming an infestation like fruit flies over one dry banana. The choice is yours. We broke the top 30 on Spotify podcast charts just a week ago, and we need your help to get back there. So drop a comment here or wherever you listen with at least 6 words. Let's help the boost. Share, save, give us a rating wherever you listen, follow the show, and let's get back into it. So before we reveal exactly what's failing under that orange man, we have to look at the absolute state of this country right now. The things that they've built to distract you, because once you understand the people in charge and what they're covering up, you kind of make some little bit more sense of the sheer chaos that they're using as a little bit of a shield.
What is that? What is that?
So there's a story out of Escondido, California right now that is barely making a blip on the national radar, and it is the perfect distillation of the powder keg we are living in right now. We have a 69-year-old Army veteran named Kerry Sharon who has just died. He was written into critical condition in his own front yard by a 32-year-old guy named Thomas Butler. And the catalyst, Sharon had his house decked out in pro-Trump flags and signs. And listen, when I see that garbage, I just keep walking on by. There's no need to get violent. But what happened was a bystander tried to help, and then they got violently attacked too. This is where we are. The political temperament is so high because Trump is destroying everyone's lives that it is driving people off the edge. We are better than this. But here's the most striking thing, and the most kind of heartbreaking part of this all. Sharon's wife, Maria, gave an interview where she actually expressed pity for the attacker's mother. She said, "He ruined his life and I feel bad for her." This woman, in the immediate aftermath of an absolute tragedy, showed more grace to her killer than the entire Republican Party has shown to anyone ever. Her neighbors said Kerry never let the political hate get to him. He believed everyone was entitled to free speech. But this violence, it's a very hyper-polarized, apocalyptic kind of warfare going on. And this is the exact environment the MAGA ecosystem spent decades carefully engineering. They wanted a culture war, and now it's boiling over and we're seeing more actual casualties. That's the reality on the ground. People are bleeding in the streets over this political movement. But while Trump's base is tearing each other apart in other areas of the country, the man holding the matches is quietly getting ready to go the way of the dinosaurs. Donald Trump was headed to Walter Reed Medical Center this Tuesday, or rather, he just left. It's his 3rd trip there in 13 months, which is totally standard behavior for an immortal king, as he likes to think he is. He just hopped on Truth Social to declare that everything checked out perfectly during his 6 monthly physical exam. No notes, just the MRI like it was last time, perfectly perfect. Trump's health report, perfectly perfect, which, he's just a flawless meat suit, huh? Trump turns 80 on June 14th. He's a Gemini, by the way, which explains why we've got a lot of coexisting realities with this man inside one press release. When I first started this podcast, I remember sitting here thinking, what if nobody listens? Seriously, you put so much time and energy into building something, and there's always going to be that little voice in your head wondering if this is even going to work. But taking that leap ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made. And if you're starting a business or launching something online, having the right tools behind you makes such a huge difference. That's why Shopify is such a game changer. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from huge brands to brand new entrepreneurs just getting started. They give you hundreds of customizable templates so your online store actually looks clean and professional. And Shopify handles everything in one place: inventory, payments, analytics, shipping, returns, all of it. Plus, if you ever get stuck, their award-winning 24/7 customer support is always there to help. It's time to turn those what ifs into with Spotify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/Lauren. That's Loren. And that is go to shopify.com/Lauren. Shopify.com/Lauren. I will link it in the description too. While the White House is aggressively trying to say this is just a routine annual checkup, independent medical experts have started looking closely at the unedited footage from these important summits with Putin and Jinping, and they found that the exact structural failure that the White House thought they had successfully buried. So have you seen Donald Trump's legs recently? Because this is where things get really hairy. And I'm serious. The cameras caught severe, unnatural, bulging edema spilling over his shoes. He's got feet and ankles like horse hooves. Last July, the White House was forced to quietly admit that he suffers from chronic venous insufficiency. His veins are basically given up. They don't want to pump blood back to his heart anymore, so it pools at the bottom of his fat legs. But this is where the lie falls apart, because leading cardiologist Dr. Jonathan Reiner dug into Trump's official medical reports from April and October, and the condition was conveniently completely wiped, completely omitted from his official records. So if the doctors left it out, they were hiding a massive liability. And if it develops suddenly after those reports, Dr. Reiner warns that they are hiding something.
I do want to see this during this examination, a credible explanation for his visible health concerns. His bruising, which initially was described as due to vigorous handshaking, which is not credible. His severe edema in his ankles, which was described as chronic venous insufficiency, when just 3 months before, 1 year ago, his examination disclosed that he had no edema.
In doctor speak, that is an immediate flashing red emergency indicator for a congestive heart failure. His circulatory system is essentially waving a white flag. It's had enough. So that's terrifying on its own if you're a Trump supporter, or if you're not, maybe you're having a great day. But if you don't couple it with this next point, you miss the full scope of all of this. Because have you noticed the deep, heavy purple bruising covering the back of his hands? Oh, it makes me gag, makes my stomach hurt. The bruises that he desperately tries to cake thick orange makeup on top of. When pressed on this, the White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt brushed it off. Nothing more than a result of a lot of handshaking. Okay, Caroline Leavitt, sure. Dr. Reiner publicly roasted this, pointing out that if it was just standard bruising from blood thinners, a normal doctor would just adjust the dose. They are treating highly visible systemic vascular issues, like he just squeezed too many palms at a rally. The White House tried to get him to wear compression socks, but he threw a temper tantrum and refused to wear them because they were uncomfortable. He is literally worried about his aesthetics while looking like Trump. And now, to add to the aesthetic disaster, we have recent photographs showing a massive blotchy neck rash. White House physician Sean Barbarella is running defense, claiming that Trump is just using a common cream as a preventative skin treatment. What are you trying to prevent, bro? You're 80. Go. your time is up. We've had enough of you. And if you're 80 and you're not Trump, we are so grateful for you to be here. What a gift to live to 80 and beyond. And we're rooting for you. But if you're Trump, no comment. So he won't specify what he's actually preventing. But at this point, this man is held together by topical steroids and sheer willpower, a desire to continue to raise absolute hell and pandemonium until the day he. So remember back in October 2025 when he got a completely random, non-routine MRI and the White House just refused to explain why? You don't just get an MRI. Trump's defense was literally, the doctor said it was the best result he's ever seen as a doctor. This is the best MRI. Metric of success. Truly an exceptional brain scan. Barbarella even put out a memo claiming Trump's cardiac age is actually 14 years younger than his chronological age. So visibly, he's a biological puddle of fluid. But on paper, his heart is the heart of a robust 65-year-old. Trump has officially announced he's refusing to take any more cognitive tests, which is definitely a sign of them being perfect. Dr. Jonathan Rayner just dropped a massive warning stating that the president has severe daytime somnolence. He falls asleep very often.
It can result in an increase in risk of dementia, decrease in cognitive effects in older people. It's equivalent to about increasing your age by about 3.5 years. It increases your cardiac risk of having a heart attack or developing congestive heart failure.
You know, honestly, I think I like Trump more when he is asleep. He can cause less chaos when he's snoozing. He might have napped right through Memorial Day observances at Arlington yesterday, but his base is still screaming about his stamina. Even his own health secretary, RFK Jr., a man who travels with roadkill, who has collected raccoon penis off the side of the road and ate it, admitted on a podcast that he has no idea how Trump is still alive, given his daily intake of McDonald's, processed candy, and fridge cigarettes. When the anti-vax brainworm man is worried about your health, might be close to the end game. So I look forward to that Walter Reed medical summary this week. I'm sure it will conclude that he has the biological heart of a thoroughbred horse. But back here on planet Earth, his veins have checked out. And there's no amount of caked up concealer that is going to deflect from any of that. So drop us a comment with at least 6 words. Help us share the show. Find us wherever you listen to your podcast, and we'll be back with more.